Give Pitt credit. They came out and they were the way more desperate team. They played hard. They played really hard, and they played aggressive. And I didn't think from jump we matched their energy. Why? Is a great question. We've had some good practices. We had good shoot around, but sometimes it happens that way. Was happy that Cam was able to, come off the bench and, play well. I thought he did a lot of good things for us. I thought he made shots, and hopefully that'll help him with his rhythm moving forward. We just gotta, there's not a whole lot we can take from this game in terms of what we did well, but we just got to do better and we got to respond. But the one thing that we can do is the one thing we can take from this game is what Pitt was, and we got to be a desperate team. And it was just, from that standpoint, I didn't think we played hard enough to beat them. That wasn't the team that I've seen all year out there this evening.
Questions, Brian?
So far this season, you've been able to hang your hat on defense. It seemed like in that first half you were maybe a step slow, and they were, they did a good job of moving the ball around and beating you off the dribble. What do you think led to that?
I thought early turnovers. It's so crazy. You play basketball, you come off a ball screen, you don't pick your dribble up. You got to come off the ball screen, you got to see what the defense gives you, and you got to play from there. I thought we were really passive on the offensive end, and I thought we were passive on the defensive end. And what you do is when you give a team life that's desperate, like Pitt played, they just fed off of it, and they did a really good job. And obviously, Cummings is like a starter, but he comes off the bench, and I'm not really great with names, and I hate when people pronounce my last name wrong, so I'm not going to pronounce it. But 25 came off the bench, and he was just really good for them. He was good from jump. Like everything he did, he was good. Like we just didn't have no respect for him, and he came out and he had a big 16 points. I thought he was really good this evening, along with Cumming. But I just, Corn, he did a really good job on the inside. They just set a tone. From start to finish. It was a tone set, and we were never able to kind of put a little strain on the game and put pressure on them.
I know you had high expectations for this team, and there's still a long way to go, but can you pinpoint why things have sort of turned this direction this early in the season?
No, I can't pinpoint it, but I do know it is a lot of season, and so there's optimism on my way. It doesn't feel like that right now, but you got to keep pushing. The one thing that we'll do is we'll keep fighting. And, the first thing at times you got to do, and it's so cliche-ish, so I don't really want to say it like that, but, you just got to say you got to find guys that just want to play hard, because tonight I just didn't think we played hard enough. Sitting or standing on the sideline and watching the game, they just played harder than us. They played really desperate, and we gotta become that team. We can't be a group that makes excuses. We gotta be coachable when we don't want to be coached. Like tough times. Tough times are times where you see what people are made of. And so I think we do have a lot left in the tank, and it's too early to look at it any other way. But we got work to do.
Coach, just your thoughts. You went with a different lineup. You brought in true freshman Davi Ramagan. What is your thoughts on him and his performance on both sides of the floor?
I think he's one of the better defenders on our team. He's always been that way. We got to speed him up a little offensively, but defensively, I think he's really good on ball. He's strong. He's a physical guard. So I was happy to get him in there and get some minutes. And it's just a matter of him just getting a little more seasoned. But I do like him. Again, defensively, I think that's where he got to hang his hat on right now. And offensively, he'll keep growing.
It's been tough recently to start the games, getting off to slow starts. What do you feel like you can do better to get this team off faster starts? Do you feel like pressing, full court pressure, anything like that to get the energy up from the start, not dig as much big of a hole?
Well, you got to look at some different things, but the group of five collectively hasn't played with a lot of energy. So you just gotta evaluate everything at this point. From the standpoint of what's going to help us. The crazy thing about it is, we've gotten off to bad starts, but we've been able to come back, and I think that the last 4 minutes of the half has killed us just as much as the first 4 minutes of the game in certain respects. But tonight we weren't good in between. And so, the game gets away from you, and you can't keep playing from a deficit like that anyway. That's no way to play. We got to start games better. It comes with the energy that we have. It comes with the pace you play with offensively. You got to play hard. We did not play. That's the one thing we didn't do. We didn't match their energy again. Watching them, standing there, they played harder than us. They did.
Yeah, looking at the game, you out-rebounded Pitt, but it seemed like they played harder under the basket. I mean, there was times where you had three guys under there to their one. He grabs the rebound, makes the easy putback. Is that just an effort thing, or what did you see there?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it was a matter of anything more than, man, they just brought the game to us. In terms of finishing, yeah, we had some opportunities we didn't finish, but that wasn't why we lost the game. We lost the game in the first 4 minutes of the game when we didn't match their energy. We went down 10-2, and then we played at a deficit the rest of the time. So at that time, you're just trying to find combinations to keep you in the game, to get you back in it. And we were never able to do that. We were never able to get that gain of 10. So, at the end of the day, it makes the margin of error smaller for the things that you're talking about. So now when you get a rebound, you feel like you're putting a lot of stress on the game. You got to make every shot, and you got to get every stop at that time. And again, looking at their team and what they did. I mean, they got 39 points off the bench. Our starters didn't even score 39 points. So it makes it difficult to win.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.